It's past midnight, and I'm sitting in my bedroom, the light from my screen faintly illuminating the walls. With my headphones on, I'm watching my competitors' latest YouTube videos, urban explorations, tours of abandoned places. Things are going really well at the moment, and I feel I need to do something out of the ordinary to attract more views. That's when I had an idea. I know it could be dangerous, but that's exactly what attracts the audience. An abandoned asylum, just outside town. I give my buddies Leo and Alexis a call. They're always the first to go for this kind of crazy plan. They answer right away, excited by the idea. We make a date for the following evening. That evening, I meet the guys in front of the entrance to the asylum. The building is imposing, dark, almost overwhelming under the night sky. The estate is surrounded by large, rusty metal fences. The surrounding trees are bare, as if life had left them along with the asylum. We squeeze through a fairly wide passage in one of the fences, our torches sweeping the surroundings. There's total silence, except for the sound of our footsteps on the gravel. Leo pops the bolt on a side door, and we enter. The air is cold and damp, and a musty smell grips our throats. We light up a long corridor, the walls covered in graffiti and mold, the floor strewn with debris. I start filming, explaining to the camera where we are and what we're doing here. We advance cautiously, our torches illuminating the remains of what was once a place of life and suffering. The rooms go by, each more devastated than the last. A treatment room with rusty beds, patient files strewn across the floor, forgotten personal items. We talk to each other in hushed tones, as if afraid of waking something up. The atmosphere is heavy, oppressive. Suddenly, a thud echoes through the corridor. We stop dead in our tracks, straining our ears. A heartbeat louder than the others, followed by what I swear is a whisper. Alexis shines his light down the hall, but there's nothing there. "What was that?" whispers Leo, wide-eyed. "Maybe just the wind, or an animal," I say, trying to remain rational. But deep down, I'm not so sure. We keep moving, a little more tense than before. We arrive in what must have been the common room. The chairs are overturned, the windows shattered. An old radio sits on a table. Out of curiosity, I turn the knobs, and to my surprise, it lights up, emitting an ominous crackling sound. We decide to continue our exploration. As we make our way upstairs, the steps creak beneath our feet. The patients' rooms are even more gloomy. Some doors are closed, others wide open, revealing unmade beds and hastily discarded personal belongings. Leo opens a door and jerks back. An old mannequin in a nurse's smock stands in the middle of the room, a blank stare fixed on us. "Who the f*** left this here?" he says. We burst out laughing nervously, trying to lighten the mood, but the unease persists. Every step sounds like a hammer blow. Every shadow seems to be watching us. Alexis then notices a trap door in the ceiling. "Do you think we can get up there?" "Only if you go up first," jokes Leo, but we can all feel the tension. Alexis pulls on the trapdoor, and a ladder unfurls with a sinister creak. He climbs carefully, closely followed by Leo, then me. We find ourselves in a dusty attic full of old junk. The smell is even stronger here, as if time has stood still. We move on in silence when suddenly, in the distance, we hear heavy, slow footsteps coming from the first floor. My heart races. Someone else is there. We switch off our torches and listen, holding our breath. The footsteps continue, slowly ascending the stairs. "We've got to get out of here," Leo whispers. We hurry down, trying not to make a sound. The footsteps get closer. We duck into a corridor, looking for a way out. Leo tries to open a door, but it's locked. I turn and see a massive figure at the end of the corridor, lit by moonlight through a broken window. I hold back a scream, and we rush into an adjacent room, closing the door behind us. We're in an old treatment room, rusty medical instruments lying everywhere. We switch off our lights and hide behind an old screen. Footsteps stop just outside the door. The silence is total, interrupted only by our gasping breaths. The door opens softly, a creak that seems to last an eternity. The figure enters, his breath heavy and irregular. He slowly approaches our hiding place. I close my eyes, praying he won't find us. There's a sudden noise from across the room. The figure turns abruptly and heads towards the noise. We take advantage of the distraction to slip out of our hiding place and flee. We cross the corridors at full speed without looking back. We finally reach the exit, the swinging door slamming behind us. The cold of the night hits us, but it's a relief. We stop, catching our breath, our hearts beating wildly. "What the hell was that?" asks Leo, his face pale. "I don't know," I say, trembling, "but we're getting out of here." We run to the car and start off with a bang. The adrenaline slowly fades. We're all wondering, who was that man? Was he just trying to scare us? Or did he represent a real threat? No one is talking. Everyone is lost in thought. When I get home, I spend hours going over the videos. I discovered things I hadn't noticed at the time. Furtive shadows, strange noises picked up by the microphone, and that blurred but terrifying silhouette following us through the corridors. That experience scarred me for life. I never put the video online. Since that night, I've never done another urban exploration. A few years later, the asylum was demolished. Apparently, the place was frequented by squatters, but strangely enough, we had never seen or found any traces of their presence during our exploration. It was as if the place was inhabited by something else. I really want to warn anyone who might be tempted by this kind of adventure. Urban exploration may seem exciting and full of adrenaline, but there are real dangers. Sometimes, what you don't see can be far more terrifying than you imagine. Think carefully before you take the plunge. For me and my friends, that night will always be a nightmare.